it's Saturday night. Yeah. Pray for the wicked on the weekend. Mama, can I get another amen? Oh, it's Saturday night.
Hey guys, it's Izzy, and welcome back to another video. Today I really did not have anything planned. I was just going to do my dysautonomia video, but that didn't work out. And so I decided today I am going to go over Lucky's first ever dressage test with the comments from better dressage scores and just talk about it, show what's going on, all of that stuff. Keep in mind Lucky is still pretty green to dressage. This was his first ever test. Overall, I was very proud with him. He mostly scored in the 6s with a few 5s and 1 7. That's really not bad at all for his first time. His collective marks were 6s and 7s. And we overall scored a 61.5%, which is 38.5 penalty points, which I am very proud of. So, without further ado, let's get started. I will read off the judge commentary and give my own input on how he was feeling at this time during the test. Okay, so here we come down the center line. You can see he's a little bit to the left of the center line. He's not very straight, and he does not maintain his halt very well. He actually takes a step in the middle of it. He wasn't really sure he was supposed to halt. We had not run this test very much, so he was still kind of new to it. Okay, that was completely my fault. I rode him a little bit too far into the corner, which resulted in him bending a little bit too much, but I was happy with how he was pretty active in his steps. Okay, this is the first 20-meter circle of the test. You can see he is very fussy in his connection. He keeps on going in and out. He was being very hard to ride on the circle, and I agree that he was overbent, more like a leg yield. Okay, right here is where I got my lowest score of the entire test. He completely resisted to move forwards, which resulted in that little hop you saw. I had to kind of get a little bit aggressive with him to get him back into the canter. And you could see his head was high. He was looking outside of the arena. He just really wasn't focused. Coming here across the diagonal, I was actually very happy with him. He had finally settled a little bit. He was a little bit tense, but he was becoming a little bit easier to ride, and I was very happy with that. Okay, this was the second 20-meter circle at the trot of the test. He felt a lot easier to ride on this circle, and he scored a little bit better. And the only problem he really had was his head was high looking at something outside of the arena. He's very attentive to things like that, but I was overall pleased with that. Okay, coming into the second canter circle, he was a little bit easier to maintain. His main problem was this circle. He was just very stiff. He really did not maintain a good circle, as you can see. He kind of crossed over boundaries, but he was a little bit easier to control. He actually was getting in such a good rhythm that I had trouble slowing him down for the walk, and we missed that transition. But he goes into his free walk now, which you can see he's having trouble stretching. He gets very tense in his neck, but I was happy he was staying calm and at the walk. He wasn't trying to break into the trot. By this point in the test, I feel like Lucky was finally starting to settle a little bit. This was, I would say, probably one of our best up transitions we had in the test. We scored a 6.5. And so we turn down the center line. As you can see, he kind of jigs a little bit side and side. Our halt was not straight and it was crooked, but he planted it and he stood still, so go Lucky. Overall, I was very pleased with this test. This was Lucky's first time ever getting scored on a dressage test. We really have not done this test too many times, so he's still relatively new to it, and he handled it pretty well. Besides being a little bit tense, which is something we've been working on lately, I think next time we will come back, and I believe our score should go up a little bit since he's become a little bit less tense in his neck. Our collective marks, he scored a 7 in his gaits, Impulsion was a 6.0, with the comment that he was fairly forward but tight in front of the saddle and his neck was short, which I agree. Submission braced at times with a 6, which I agree. Rider's position and seat, that's me. I got a 7 with the comment that was a quiet rider, which is something I try to be. Rider's correct and effective use of the aids was a 6.0. And geometry and accuracy was also a 6.0 because I was having trouble cutting corners a little bit or going too deep into them, and then especially on the canter circles, they were not always the correct shape. So scored out of 200, we got 123 points, which is what made out to be a 61.5%, 38.5 penalties for if we were at a show, since we do eventing. I was very pleased with that. Further remarks from the judge were, very attractive horse with soft rider. Scores will improve with accuracy, size and shape of circles, bend in body and not just neck, placement of transitions, riding into corners a little bit better. Encourage increased push from hind legs onto soft receiving hand to encourage relaxed connection and stretch over top line, especially in front of saddle. Work on overtrack and stretch and free walk, which we've been doing that for about the past month, working on him. And if you've seen recent Instagram posts, he has been doing fantastic. Really, with this test, it was more just kind of about trying to get him through it. He can be very high strung, he can be hard to ride, and really just kind of nursing him through this test was my goal, and we were able to actually complete the test itself. We need to work on our marks, but I was so proud of that. But anyways, sorry for this kind of last minute thrown together video. I was so proud of him. Also, if you didn't know, I'm a brand ambassador for Better Dressage Scores. I would definitely recommend checking out their social media. They have their May show, which is closing in, I believe, 9 days. How it works is you pick your test online, and you can pick any of the USEA test or the USDF test, and you film it following the regulations, and then you submit it and pay the small fee for the test, and within a few weeks it will come back graded. You can choose if you would like to be shipped a ribbon and a hard copy of your test, which I chose, and it's just such a good experience, especially for horses if you don't get to get off property that much but still want the experience. I would totally recommend checking them out. But anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this week's video. I'm sorry it was kind of thrown together last minute, but I've been meaning to do this for a while. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye!